Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Bite-Sized Thursday. Last week, we watched... what episode of Lost did we watch last week, Jared?
It was the two-part Season 3 finale, Through the Looking Glass Parts 1 and 2. So...
Well, we're getting out of that season, and to be honest, I am quite exhausted of Lost and Season 3 of Lost specifically. I think
he's lost the reason to keep going.
Yeah.
With Lost, not
well,
with living.
Well, Season 3 anyways.
Yeah, but we're done with Season 3.
Yeah, we're done with Season 3. So we're going to give us all a bit of a break here. We're going to take an 8-week pause on Lost. We're going to get unlost? We're going to get found?
Going to get lost from Lost.
Yeah. We're going to get lost from Lost, and we're going to take off to another series. We are going to cover Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. And to do that, we have a friend of the podcast, Drew Yavor, over here.
Good day.
From Detroit, St. Clair Shores.
By the way, his address is the following, along with his driver's license number.
Always appreciate a good doxing.
All right.
There are a lot of docks at St. Clair Shores, right? Aren't you on like a lake or something?
More or less, sure.
So there's plenty of docks.
Anyway, we're going to watch Scott Pilgrim Takes Off just because it's related to Scott Pilgrim, and all of us in this room love the Scott Pilgrim property. I'm really excited. I really loved it when it came out. I was really worried about it, just because I didn't want it to be a third retelling of the same Scott Pilgrim story. What do we all remember about it?
Well, I will say real quick, Drew, the last time you were on this podcast, we talked about Scott Pilgrim, and that was we recorded that back in June of 2023, and it came out and it ended up, because of the timing of release, it was November of 2023 when it went live on YouTube and all that. So it's been a while since you've been here, and we're back to talk about Scott Pilgrim. And I want to throw it to Drew first. Let's throw it to Drew.
Yeah, throw it to Drew.
All right. Well, I think it certainly warrants mentioning as a reminder that as an entry point to Scott Pilgrim as an IP, I think I read the graphic novels first, and then, Jake, you and I saw the film in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a deep appreciation for the property as a whole since then. Similar to you, I was skeptical going into the series. I had high hopes, knowing how many of the original the original actors that got back to do the voice acting for this.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited that it had a lot of the same creatives involved in the process. But I was hesitant. I was hesitantly excited. I haven't had the opportunity to revisit this since it first aired, but my memory is one of very pleasant surprise.
You could say your memory is as bad as Scott's at least in the graphic novels. If I recall, he kind of forgets like everything.
I'll allow it.
Yeah,
I need to read that again. Oh, that's what we didn't bring. We didn't bring the books. We were going to bring the books for props, but I didn't remember that.
Well, if you want all of the backstory, Jake graciously let me borrow them, and I really liked them. And that was like 2022.
Was it that late?
It was.
I thought it was like 2020.
It was post-COVID for sure, and I borrowed them, and I read them through them pretty quickly, as everyone does. And then I gave them back to you. I think we put them in like the back seat of your car, and I don't think they've left.
They're in the trunk now.
That does sound like the back seat of your car, yes.
I'm pretty sure I still have stuff in the back seat of that. Oh no, it can't be from when we were in college, because that was the green car, and now it's white.
The green car. I remember that.
I missed that car. I loved it so much. Anyway, Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, I remember watching this. I remember watching this in a Starbucks in Owasso because because I had to drive my wife over there for work for something for a couple days. I remember being very hesitant like that because, again, didn't want a retelling, didn't want just the Edgar Wright movie animated. I was kind of like, I won't say I was tired of it, but I was kind of tired of seeing it like it was supposed to be a new thing. And like what I remember from the first episode is that it very much feels like that is going to be the case. And, full disclosure, you said that we all have seen this, correct?
Yeah.
So we don't have to we don't have to act like we haven't, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and to be perfectly honest with you, the way I remember feeling that the first episode feels like disjointed and a little bit like Flash animated, kind of in the way I was watching. I'm not sure if it was like the device I was watching it on or something like that, but I felt very disjointed from it. I was like, oh no, am I not gonna like this? And then the thing happens that happens. I won't say it before we watch it, but and you just go, what?
It's the
I think it's
the Don Knotts thing in Three's Company.
I genuinely think that it is probably one of 5 shows in my entire life that has made me go, wait, what?
It is just phenomenal execution of subversion of expectations.
You know what else did that? The Last Jedi. Let's talk about The Last Jedi.
And here again, we talk about Star Wars.
I'm not going to do that.
He hasn't had a movie come out in a while, has he? Rian Johnson. Last year?
Yes.
What?
The third Knives Out.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
You should.
That's why I don't remember it. Is that on Netflix too?
That's a Netflix original.
Sad.
That's what the Glass Onion was as well. It just had a short theatrical stint. It was like a week, but
I got to see that in theaters, right?
I don't know.
I feel like I did. Anyway, Scott Pilgrim takes off. We ready to get into this?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, everybody. Let's take off. Welcome back, everybody. We just watched episode 1 of Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life, which, of course, as Jared pointed out, is the title of the first book. I forgot how much I loved it.
Even though it's like 99% retread of the movie, it's like, man, you get sucked right back in.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, I think during my initial viewing, that skepticism you talked about, where it's like, I like this, but this does feel like recap until, and that's the point, is that subversion you talk about, Drew, it gets you.
It's one of those things where it's like, there was enough. So, like, I remember thinking when I was watching it the first time, where it's like, there's enough that's different where I'm going to, like, keep watching this and be engaged. But at the same time, what's the point of this? And then it does, at the end, Matthew Patel defeats him in one punch, which is just like, what?
Yeah, it's that moment of all of us doing the Don Knotts, as I said, what? And even the announcer's surprised too, the KO. So
revisiting this now, I'm remembering more how I felt the first time I watched it through. So while I've seen all of this before, I only watched it when it first aired. I haven't revisited it. And watching it now, knowing the direction it heads, it's mostly the same. And I remember watching it through the first time and thinking, they're retreading, but the pacing is weird. They're almost speed running it. There's
That's a good word, yeah.
There's 8 episodes total. Even if they want to do like an Evil X per episode, the timing is just weird. So they're clearly doing something else here. And revisiting it now, knowing the different direction it heads, you can see strange but small deviations from what the movie and the graphic novels do. And it's little things like you see him receive the email on the computer, but it's not the email that's the message from Patel. It's the letter that comes later. And it's like, these are weird little differences, and that's telegraphing something, but I don't appreciate what it is yet.
I think they hit it well. Because like you said, enough of it is the same, and I think there's enough of the fan base out there, because I think the general fan base for Scott Pilgrim doesn't want or doesn't necessarily care as much that it's a retread. They just want to see this animated.
Yeah, one of the criticisms from the idiot fans was that as we know, Ramona becomes front and center of the show because Scott's not there for a lot of it, and like because of the subversion. And I remember thinking, but that's so cool that they do this. And it just goes back to, sorry to say what someone brought up in the intro about Star Wars, it's the same thing as The Last Jedi. They did something different and everyone got mad because people want the same thing over and over, and then when you give them the same thing, they're mad. No one is ever happy.
Ever. Not a single person.
Well, I mean, speaking of differences, though, one thing I am happy about here, I deeply love the soundtrack to the film. I really do. But I had forgotten all of the new music they pull in for the series, and I like that quite a bit.
I was thinking that as we were watching it, too. I was like, man, each one of these different projects, just in its music itself, because, like, music is a giant part of that, but even the books. Like, I remember the books have little printings of, all of the music that they're playing is, like, printed on the side, like those little graphics. And then it's also, like, it'll have playlists that Brian Lee O'Malley was, like, listening to while he was drawing it. And, like, the character of the movie is, by and large, defined by the music that is coupled with it. And then this, like, all of the Sex Bomb songs are different than any of the other ones we've heard before.
Was it Beck that wrote the Sex Bomb songs for the movie?
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Sorry. I wonder if these are cutting room floor ones. I wonder if someone has said that somewhere.
Yeah, or it's, I can't remember. Let's see. I'm seeing like who wrote the intro, but I'm not seeing like others. It just kind of says what other songs are used. I know Plumtree's Scott Pilgrim song is on there. The character name comes from their song,
right?
And he wears a Plumtree shirt in the movie, if I recall, because that's where Brian Lee O'Malley got the idea.
I believe he wears it in the comic book too. Like that movie, the items in it and the props are fairly representative of the source material, like down to like the cat mugs. I remember when the movie first came out, at least you and I were like, oh my gosh, did you see the trailer? It's like shot for shot. Like, how did he even do that? And like, why can't more people do that? And it's funny to see the progression where it's like, now we're watching this and it kind of is like, it's frame for frame kind of the comic book. And it's like, I don't know that I jive with that though. But now that you say that the pacing is weird, I think that I definitely was feeling that in a first watch too. And I think that's what added to, how I said it feels disjointed. It feels kind of like Flash animation. I wonder if how much of that contributed to the feeling that I had, because I still sort of, the characters feel very stiff compared to the movie.
I remembered that the style of this was very anime. What I didn't remember specifically was how much it is directly, to my memory anyway, Speed Racer. And that animation style was extremely sort of disjointed like that. But some of the specific mannerisms, I know it's also playing on anime tropes as a whole, but it's very Speed Racer to me.
I thought I read one of the influences on Brian Lee O'Malley for Scott Pilgrim was Ranma One Half. Does that sound right?
That
makes entire sense.
And people have claimed Fuliculi was another one, but he says it's not much of it is, but people have kind of said it is.
So what, I mean, you and I have watched Fuliculi, right?
The first episode for this
we never
series.
watched this. So I think where they get that is Ramona is very, do you remember the character's name?
Oh,
the girl?
No, it's been
She's
20
very,
years.
very in the vibe of that girl.
Okay.
And the way that they like pull things out of his head, or she goes through his head, like it is very that. To the point where I can see where people would get there.
Yeah, I think those are the two people bring up when they're talking about like what are the two big anime that inspire this. Which Ranma one half he has said is like a big inspiration, but then the other one is not. I thought there was another thing I read that he took inspiration for the art design, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
I can think of a couple animes that, at least for this art, have very similar character models. I can't think of what the name of it is, but I can see it in my head.
Yeah. I can't remember what the other ones. I know he like read. What is the name of that? It's a book or it's a manga about making a manga, and it's like it's self-referential, and it's the joke is that you can make a manga about anything and people will buy it. Was something like that, and it was like his roommate gave it to him, I read, and that's the whole reason why he started making comics in the first place. Something like that. I did a little bit of homework on this because I thought, okay, I read these comics years ago, and they're not the same as the movie or the show. What happens in the comic? And so I just read quick synopses of those. So,
Is it bad that I've read the comics enough and have enough copies of them that I can identify what is directly pulled from a panel and what is like directly pulled from a scene in the movie, and
like
what
what
is
book?
different? Like I can put that in a column in my head and say, "Yep, that's there. Yep, that's there. Nope, that's different. He said something like that, but it was actually this."
Well, of course, that was the assumption that was easy to make going into this. Is from what I remember of the news and the press releases leading into the release of this, they telegraphed it was going to be different than the movie and not a direct adaptation. But the natural assumption to make is, oh, okay, you're just going to follow the graphic novels much closer, and you're going to pick up all those plot lines and characters that we didn't cover in the movie. Fine, cool.
Knives' dad and what's the girl who liked him? What's her name? The one that's not in the movie. Is it Lisa?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, I remember.
I actually think that she's in this.
that. Okay, I can't remember
At
if she's
some
in the
point.
show. But I
So
know that.
that is, I think, book 4.
I think it's.
I think it's book 4
That
is the
sounds
one
right.
with Knives Out. That is the one great tragedy. I mean, he's in this more, but that is the one great tragedy across all this like multimedia project sort of thing. That book is largely, I don't want to say forgotten about, but like not given proper space, because that is the book that turns Scott Pilgrim into actually like a hero. And it's very interesting that that's the one that gets cut.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of adaptations, I guess I'd be remiss not to also bring up the video game. I was very much reminded of that during the fight sequence, of course.
I love that game.
I know. And I think some of the same creative team was involved in this as the game.
Yeah,
although
I
not-
think who are the people that did the music for it?
Anamaguchi.
Yeah.
I think they're...
Yep.
Did you see they made a second game now?
No.
There's a second game out now.
Oh, phenomenal.
EX
Yeah.
or just X.
I maybe was a little bit irresponsible with my money and ordered the limited run games game console that they're making surrounding it.
Is that irresponsible or is that deeply responsible?
I think it's deeply responsible, but
Is it better than buying that music service to only listen to Donda 2? That Kanye album, that like the only way you can listen to it is through that thing, and then everyone who did's like, yeah, and it sucks. Really? Screw that guy.
that's very funny.
I was gonna say, Drew, you mentioned speed running, and a good, I'd say, comparison between this episode and an anime thing is the rebuilds of Neon Genesis.
Oh, sure.
Have you seen any of the rebuilds?
Some of the early part of that, sure.
Okay, because what they do is the first rebuild is the show, just truncated.
That's right.
And it's like a recap, and you watch it and go, why did I watch that? And then you watch the second one, and they not only introduce a new character, the ending is different.
Right.
And that makes the two following ones completely different than where the show and End of Evangelion go. And that's what this feels like, where it's, okay, there's a reason why. This, if anything, this is like a Scott Pilgrim rebuild.
No, I think that's a very apt comparison. We're left with the same feeling right here. Like, all right, it's different now. Now what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I guess one final stray comment from me. I note that Scott was worth $2.10
Canadian.
represented with 2 loonies instead of a toonie. So knowing that this takes place in the not-too-distant past, I don't know if that's trying to establish time where this would take... I think the toonie was introduced in maybe 96?
That sounds right.
That actually tracked... Well, no.
Well, and then Netflix wasn't a thing till, 99?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
So
Yeah,
it's at least the 2000s.
Well, that's the other thing that's kind of not funny different. I think it's Amazon that she works for in the books.
Right.
But they can't use the Amazon name, obviously.
Because it's a package, and then this one, because it's Netflix, it's, she's delivering my movie. So I wonder if they made it when the books take place.
They're like, ha 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 ha, look at us, we called ourselves out in our own show. Ha 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 ha. But
Thanks, capitalism.
But then we have to talk about how iconic is Wallace Wells, just regardless of whatever property he's in, he just is.
I remember you saying before I read the books, like I said, oh yeah, I like Wallace a lot, and you go, oh, he's much better in the books. I go, is that possible? And you said, yeah, he gets so much more to do, and he's just hilarious.
I was gonna say I love Kieran Culkin. Especially
Oscar winner Kieran Culkin.
Oscar winner Kieran Culkin, probably deservedly so too.
Oh, yeah, great performance.
Did he get that last year?
Yeah, it was last year.
What movie was that?
A Real Pain.
That's right. I never got to see that.
And the real pain was actually having to watch Jesse Eisenberg.
Twist.
Fun fact, I used to refer to Jesse Eisenberg as low-rent Michael Cera.
Yeah.
My, how the turntables.
Yeah, and then
Tangentially related.
I've seen the meme where it's the Pokemon evolution. It's Squirtle, War Turtle, Blastoise, but instead it's Michael Cera, Jesse Eisenberg, Andy Samberg.
I like that a lot.
And it's like each one's like the hair gets a little longer, the face gets a little. It's and it's like young, like Arrested Development Michael Cera picture, and then like Social Network Jesse Eisenberg, and then like Brooklyn Nine-Nine Andy Samberg. So
is that the
younger version?
Only genuinely good movie that Jesse Eisenberg has been in is The Social Network?
I mean, A Real Pain is a good movie.
Okay.
I joke, he's fine in it. It's Kieran Culkin's movie.
I really liked him in Adventureland.
Oh, I forgot about that. Also, if I remember correctly, there's a part of there's a character in that is very deeply creepy.
Ryan Reynolds?
That might be why I forgot about it.
I think it's also funny, isn't it? Kristen Stewart's the love interest.
Sure is.
And then, like, what is it, 9 years later, they're in a Woody Allen movie as love interests again that I actually just watched like a week ago. Cafe Society. So I go, wait a minute, weren't they in they're in Adventureland. I haven't even seen all of Adventureland, but I go, yeah, I remember those two were in that.
Do you remember the time in the like mid 2000s when all movies were just kind of that vibe, like Adventureland, Away We Go?
Yeah. Oh, there's one on the tip of my tongue. Oh, I can't think of it.
Celeste and Jesse Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
500 Days of Summer.
Yeah, that too.
Zach and Miri make a porno.
Sort of a different thing.
Yeah,
that's Kevin Smith. I just always mixed up that one and the playlist one, which is really funny because the only thing they share is it's two people's names and an and or an ampersand between them. I just think it's funny that I mix them up. Oh, it's like Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. Oh, is that where they make a porno? They go, no, that's Zach and Miri make a porno. I thought that was about music. Like, no. It's like mixing up Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg. People do it. I thought it was just me, 15 years ago doing it. other people recently have done that to me, where they'll mix them up, and then when they talk about The Departed, it's like they're both in it, and they're like, oh yeah, when so and so gets shot at the end. I said no, the other one did. Are you sure? Pretty sure.
So my obvious question then, is it really Matt Damon in Interstellar as Dr. Mann, or is it Mark Wahlberg?
I am so happy that it was Matt Damon and not Mark Wahlberg.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I don't mind Matt Damon. Wahlberg, I'm not gonna waste any more words on.
You don't want to go to Wahlburgers?
No.
You're a much bigger fan of his music career, eh?
I'm a much bigger fan of his PTA career. One movie that he's disowned.
I'd buy that for $1.
What would you buy for $1? The movie or his prosthetic?
The concept of enjoying his performance in that.
He's like perfect though, because I know it's one of your favorite movies.
Oh, easily.
He's perfect for that role because he's just the right amount of
So Boogie Nights then.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
What is it? He's just the right amount of like pathetic dork, but he's likable enough for people in world to like him,
while also not being at all self-aware.
Yeah, like that the documentary he makes, and they're watching it, and you're sitting there like, this is awful, and then when it's over, it's like, oh, that was so good, honey, and it's like,
that's based on an extremely real documentary.
I think so.
Exhausted, the Pete Holmes story,
okay.
I think. John Holmes. It right down to almost verbatim his comments to Burt Reynolds about how he's allowed to do his own blocking. That's right out of the John Holmes.
I spent a long time in Boogie Nights land because I wrote a paper for it for my master's degree, where it's like you had to choose a film, and then each small paper was one aspect of it, and then the final paper is like this big, like 10-page, all of the papers combined.
Sure.
So I spent a lot of time talking and researching Boogie Nights recently. So I'm like still in that mode of
what made you choose Boogie Nights?
So the class was gender, sexuality, and race in film, and you have to choose a film that has all three aspects, and that jumped out right away because you got the big ensemble. It's like, oh, for sexuality, you can talk about Scotty J, Philip Seymour Hoffman's character being gay, and then for gender, I talked about Julianne Moore's character, Amber, and her custody battles, and how she wishes to be a mother. And then for race, I talked about Buck, which is Don Cheadle's character, and how there are other reasons why he can't be a businessman that have nothing to do with his race, but that's a subliminal thing that they kind of hint at on top of his profession. And then the intersectionality, I hope I said that word right. I couldn't say it right the whole time I'd read it out loud.
No, you nailed it.
Okay, is each of these aspects on top of them being in the porn industry, being sex workers, and it's like that where two of these collide. And so I go, that's perfect. And then you actually start doing the nitty-gritty research. It's like, oh, I gotta actually do like work to talk about this. But yeah, so not to go on that long tangent about Boogie Nights, but I'm still in Boogie Nights land, and that class was like 2 classes ago, and I'm still thinking about it. So that's all I have to say about that.
All right. You got anything more on first episode? Okay. All right. Well, we'll be back next week with episode 2 as Scott Pilgrim takes off. Jared, what's it called again?
Oh, are you talking the episode?
Yeah.
It's Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life.
No, next week's episode.
Oh, next week's episode is A League of Their Own. There's no crying in anime.
There's no crying in anime.
That's not true at all. There's a lot of crying in anime.
There's a lot of crying
and
in anime.
I think both of you have seen exponentially more anime than I ever have. So me saying that is even funnier.
I don't know that I'm going to quote this right, but how did it go?
Pipero.
He knew exactly what I was going to say. Damn it.
That one, I can never forget about that.
I made them watch the first 2 episodes of that.
Episode.
No, because they're 15-minute segments. I would have been.
It was one.
Oh, I only made you enjoy 15 minutes of that?
Yeah, and the only thing I remember laughing at really hard was the English dub version of when she mentioned she's going to school with him, and he just goes, "What?" It was entertaining. I'll give you that. And then when it's revealed what she's there for, it's like, and I went, what?
Japan is a different world.
It certainly is. Different culture, different customs, I'll say that. And I've seen anime that has similar uncomfortable things in that vein, and it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, watching, without spoiling it, watching the end of Attack on Titan is kind of uncomfortable at parts.
Have you seen it, Drew?
I have not.
Okay. I was going to say something really funny that I said to you
When we watched the ending.
But I can't because I don't want to spoil it for Drew because I think he'd like it from my limited knowledge of your interests. But, I don't want to spoil.
Noted and
really
appreciated.
Good show, so.
It's a good show. Recommend. The new remake of Ranma 1/2. Phenomenal.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yes, there's 2 seasons of it now, I think.
Is that also on Netflix?
Phenomenal, yes.
Okay, so it's a Netflix thing.
Phenomenal. And if you record it and put it on Plex, shoot it my way. I will watch it over and over and over again.
Okay, this is being recorded, so I need to state on the air that to the extent I have taped this show for our use in this podcast, it is for not commercial purposes. It was recorded pursuant to Sony versus Universal, which roundly held that you can record shows from services you pay for time-shifting purposes for your own non-commercial personal playback, which is the context in which it's being used here. Thank you.
The funniest part about this is Jared's probably going to cut it all out.
Hey, do you want me to cut it out?
Hey.
I thought you did pretty well on that.
I had to say it.
Dude's basically
what you do with it is your own business.
Dude's
but I have
basically
it
a
on the
lawyer
record.
over there.
It has been preserved for the record. My part's done.
You wash your hands of the affair, right?
Most stuff.
Anyway, we'll be back at you next week with Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, Episode 2, League of Their Own. Other than that, Jared, if they want to catch us anywhere else, where can they find us in the week?
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, the funny TikTok, and Twitter. Take that, Musk. And you can listen to us on Apple's podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, make sure you ring that notification bell, check us out and rate us on all those apps, and swing by our groovy website. I added some pictures. You'd be proud of me.
Good job, web designer.
Oh, I didn't design it. Dickie designed it.
I know, I've seen it.
Yeah, you can go, yeah, that was not me, and then you go, and that was definitely not you. It looks nice, Dickie, if you're watching this. It looks nice.
It's just not either of us. But we love you, and we miss you, and we want you to come back so you can do it again.
Yes.
Anyway, so other than that, let's take off.